I've never really talked about it publicly because I know he's such a very well-liked, and I think that you are allowed to have a bad day.
That's not the case with this ad. This is a 9-minute ad. And during this ad, he decided to recklessly drive while filming. Reminds me of somebody.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like if you had a squeaky clean reputation for your entire 10 plus years of content creation, then all of a sudden, everything hits the fan, and then it does again and again and again?
Recently, it got revealed that Mr. Beast got arrested 6 years ago for drag racing going over 100 miles per hour. And the fact that one of the most hated people on the planet crashed his $200,000 McLaren a month ago, you would think that someone who has kept a perfect reputation for years wouldn't make a similar mistake right now.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like if after building up such a huge reputation of being one of the smartest people in tech reviewing, you finally release your own product and everybody mad at you because you did it wrong?
So in surprising online drama news, it was actually one of the most requested stories today. MKBHD, aka Marques Brownlee, is coming under fire, and it doesn't appear that everyone is on his side this time, right? And that because a lot of people have said he just released a shameless cash grab.
And then, after narrowly surviving that one, you get caught driving 96 in a 35 mile per hour zone for a sponsored video, then you would be Marques Brownlee.
Oh, that's hot.
But personally, I'm glad Marques Brownlee is getting canceled because he was mean to me once. Kind of. I never really blamed him for it, but we'll get to that. So, okay, let's start off from the beginning. Obviously, everybody is well aware of the lunch league. I'm just kidding. So everybody's well aware of the panel situation where Marques Brownlee came out with a wallpaper app in 2024 and expected people to pay $50 a year for it.
This coming from him launching an app called Panels, which offers curated wallpapers for iPhones and Androids. One of the big things is that there are two ways to sort of experience this app. The first is for free, right? No subscription. And the second is by paying for a version called Panels Plus, and that costs either $50 annually or $11.99 per month.
I'm pretty old. And I'm gonna tell you, I've never paid for a wallpaper. Like maybe in 2005, but it was so long ago, I don't even remember doing it. A ringtone, yeah, we all paid for ringtones back in the day. But expecting people in 2024 to even consider buying one wallpaper, let alone a million of them. And I think his thought process behind it was, oh, I'm a huge star now, he is. And the first thing under his name when you Google him is wallpapers. People always want to know which wallpapers he's using in his videos. Man, y'all some nerds, huh? I mean, I know I'm a nerd, but damn. The hubris. That one, I do think it's weird and funny, but I do think he was over-canceled for that one because people were putting him in the same buckets as scammers and actual criminals. You know you don't have to buy his app if you don't want to, but I was talking about it with some friends, and I think the reason why the Marques panel situation is just as is damaging to his credibility as the Mr. Beast stuff is because the difference between what happened with Mr. Beast and what happened with Marques Brownlee is that Marques Brownlee pissed off his core audience, which is adult dudes in situations. So when you upset the people who are your core fan base, it's really hard to outlive that. Marques Brownlee has built himself up to be one of the strongest voices in reviewing a tech product. He can cancel a product. I mean, like he can get a product, just no one will want a product anymore after he says so. So when he finally came out with something himself, and I thought it was so funny because I saw the memes like, this is the kid who like says, oh, we need to study, and then fails the exam.
Now the sponsor wasn't the worst or craziest part, and it's not something that I have an issue with. Now, if you watch this video now, there's an entire segment that's apparently been cut. And what does that segment have? It has Marques Brownlee recklessly driving. And I'm not talking a little over the limit. I'm talking enough to get a license suspended on the spot.
So the recent one, the one where he's doing a sponsored video for, I think it's some type of dash cam.
Just pretending like it didn't happen is wild.
Now, if I was to be charitable, I would think, you know, with the resources that Marques has, he probably shut down the road that I'm about to show you. But there was no mention of this. In fact, he's like, cut out the unnecessary driving clip that obviously added nothing to the video. I hear all your feedback on sponsored videos. People in the comments are just roasting, so let's look at the video clip that never added anything to the video.
Apparently, they tried to blur how fast he was going on the speedometer, which they've done before in previous videos. But I guess this super fancy car that I can't even remember what it was, like a Ferrari or something, it has a dash cam on the the side next to the driver, that's absolutely insane to me. It's like, why does the side driver need to backseat drive me? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, yeah, he was in a residential zone going like 96 miles per hour. And I'm not gonna lie, that's low-key lunatic behavior. But this is coming from the type of person who everyone tells me I drive too slow my entire life. People are like, you drive like a grandpa. No, I drive the speed limit. Because here's my thing, the risk versus reward. Okay, you drive 100 miles per hour and you get to your destination 1 minute earlier. And you risk your entire life and other people's lives in the process. So yeah, driving too slow is also dangerous as well. No, driving 96 in a residential area is nuts. And here's my other thing about driving is that people are like, oh, I can drive this, and that. Yes, but you cannot control what other people are gonna do. You can't control other people coming into your lane. You can't control kids running into the street. Like, there are a lot of things as a driver that are outside of your control that just because you're like, I know how to drive perfectly, you can't control everybody else. So now he's done an apology. Wait, let me look at the apology because there's some controversy over the apology. Imagine having to apologize yet again after so soon. So his apology. Last video, I did something pretty stupid. You might have already seen it, but maybe not, so I'll address it here. There was a clip with the action cam of me test driving a car and going way too fast. First off, I didn't expect Marquise Brownlee to use the wrong form of two. Really? He used way too fast and you used two? Absolutely inexcusable and dangerous. Okay, but I wanted to talk about how I saw on Reddit or wherever people talking about how his apology wasn't good. They say, mentions that he was speeding, but doesn't mention where he was speeding. Doesn't mention the slow and 35 miles per hour sign, which kind of makes it sound like it was only his life that was at stake. Without the full context, which he destroyed by deleting said part of the video, your guess would be as good as mine. Was it on a highway? Maybe a racetrack? No, it was a residential area. Because in his original apology, he says, oh, I'm well aware of the Streisand effect of when you try to delete something and that brings it to everyone's attention. He's like, brilliantly saying like, oh, I'm deleting it on purpose. But these people are saying, no, you're trying to cover up the evidence. It's also the audacity to say, it looks like we were covering it up, dog. You guys were covering it up. You actively deleted comments and even blocked profiles until Muda from Some Ordinary Gamers and other big channels covered the situation. You never want Muda. You never want to be on the bad side of Muda. That guy's got a really funny laugh. That's a damaging laugh. I'm not gonna lie to you. Muda hard. That guy's pretty serious. So, oof. It was only then that you realize it's too late. Doesn't mention that the video was uploaded with a blurred speedometer, which is already on admission of guilt and is pretty wild. Yeah, it's crazy because, this man has such a huge reputation of being such a smart individual. In the last couple months, he's just stepping into it. All right. Now I will tell you my story of the time I met him. So this must have been 2017. And Casey Neistat flew us out to New York, or at least flew me out to New York, and a bunch of other people, and we were at some type of Samsung event. Casey flew me out a couple times, so I'm not 100% sure which time, and many times it was for a Samsung event. So we were at this Samsung event in 2017. I think it was the one where it was that big stadium, but this was like an after party or whatever. So I see Marquise Brownlee just sitting there by himself. Or standing there by himself and in this sitting area. And I was like, oh, that's that guy. So what you don't know is I actually did a SourceFed video about Marquise Brownlee, probably either late 2014 or early 2015. And I didn't know who he was. So in my SourceFed video, I referred to Marquise Brownlee as some guy did this, and this. And all the comments on that SourceFed video were like, how dare you refer to Marquise Brownlee as some guy? He's this guy. So I was like, oh, it'll be funny if I tell him this story. So I walk up to Marquise Brownlee and I'm like, hey, dude. He's like, hey. And he's like, oh, I'm like, let me tell you, I made this video about, I was on this news thing called SourceFed. I did this video about you and everybody was mad at me when I called you this guy. And he was like, oh. And I was like, oh. I was like, I don't think he wants to talk to me. And so I kind of was just like, all right, see you later, dude. So I never really talked about it publicly because I know he's such a very well-liked, and I think that you are allowed to have a bad day. Maybe right before he came to this, the love of his life broke up with him. Maybe maybe his grandma died that day. And I don't know. And I think that, so like when you meet, 50% of people who meet me, I'm like, dude, F you, you don't know me. You don't know anything about me. That stuff I said was funny, was in the past. Get out of my face. So I am like that when people recognize me. So I can't be mad when Marquise Brownlee, yes girl, gave me nothing. But I'm not gonna lie, I was like, you know what? I don't think you like. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I was like, you and me the only two black dudes at this event? And you know, like, it's a thing between, you know, black people see other black people in a non-black people area, you nod your heads up, you know, like, you know, or anywhere really. It's a black people thing. It's like, oh, he didn't want to give me that. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm glad he's getting canceled because he was awkward to me once, even though I'm the king of being awkward to other people. I'm sorry, I just think it's all funny. And because a lot of the stuff that he's doing isn't like, I mean, some of it is bad. I mean, the driving 96 and the 36 is the worst thing he's done yet. The other stuff was just funny getting in trouble, but now he really got in. So, you know, I'd say the moral of the story is, if you're a content creator, if you're a YouTuber, if you're a person whose public face is out there a lot and you want to be, you better be nice to me when I recognize you. When I come up to you, especially if we're two black dudes, you better dap me up and start jumping up and down and around with me when I see you. If you and me are meeting and we ain't never met before, or if we met 1,000 times, I want you to start crying when you see me, okay? Even if you don't know who I am. And this is a message to people who don't know who I am specifically. So hey, Marquise Brownlee, I hope he learns from his mistakes. And the truth is, a lot of YouTubers at that top echelon think they're untouchable. So, let it go. Thank you for watching another episode of Truly Passionate. I'm your host, William Haynes. Please leave a like on me and subscribe to me.